world.
It's Olivia and Susie here, and today we are going to talk about the 5 most common mistakes first-time homebuyers make.
Yikes.
I'm not really sure that they're only first-time homebuyer mistakes.
True. These are, some of them are maybe a little bit more specific towards your first-time homebuyer, but some of them are things that anybody buying a home could really
especially
just
if
pay attention to.
Maybe you haven't bought a home for 20 years. I haven't bought a home for a while. If I didn't do this every day, I bet I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
There'd be a lot of things I wouldn't know.
had an older couple this last year that kind of said the same thing. We have not bought a home in 30 years. Everything has changed.
Yeah.
Mostly.
And even if it was all the same, what would you remember?
Right, exactly.
I don't know about you, but I can barely remember yesterday.
Very true.
So,
Very true.
And there's that. So, anyway, we'll get down to business. Number 1 is going to be not getting professional help. And that's especially if you haven't bought a house for 30 years or you're a first-time home buyer. I would say make sure you've got somebody in your corner that knows what they're doing.
Right, and it not just coming from us as the somebodies, but
even if we're not that somebody, some other somebody, pick a realtor. I would say find a good realtor. I would say maybe interview a few realtors. Find somebody who maybe has not only experience and knowledge, but also that you like, because you're probably going to spend a lot of time with them.
Right.
We hope we like our clients because we're going to spend a lot of time.
Right. We hope they like us. The relationship goes better that way.
It really does. It really does. And lenders.
Yes.
Definitely. You've got to find a good lender. Definitely check around. It's not just about rate shopping. The best rate in the does does you no good if you can't close the deal.
Exactly. And
not even.
How do you find out, who's a good realtor or who's a good lender?
Right.
Ask around. Ask some recent experiences with people maybe that you know that have recently bought a home.
Right.
And with realtors, my daughter just completed the Dave Ramsey course, and they actually told her, they said to interview multiple realtors, Mom. And I said, I tell people that all the time.
Yes.
If you're interviewing me, pick a couple more. You can see houses with both of us, all of us. See who fits with you the best, because that's very important.
And then pick somebody who's really going to be on your team. You don't want to constantly be working with 3 different realtors.
No, just
you want
the
to
initial
get to
interview.
know 3 people, and then have somebody who's on your team in the corner for you, fighting for your deal, because sometimes these real estate deals can be hard. We're seeing more and more multiple offer situations, so
you need somebody that can fight.
A realtor who knows how to fight for you, and having that lender who knows how to get the job done, who writes a good pre-qual letter that you can count on, and like Susie said, ask your friends and family. If you've already got the realtor might know about lenders, or even vice versa. But that can happen.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be number 1. Number 2. Making financial errors, and that can be before the transaction or after the transaction,
or during.
More so during, right after the under contract, before you close. But from the beginning, so many people are shocked that you don't have to have 20% down.
Right.
You don't have to, even if you're not a first-time home buyer, you might not have to have 20% down. There's a lot of great programs out there, and we definitely encourage some level of savings because you want to be financially prepared too for, home ownership, for earnest money. But on the same token, don't panic if you don't have $20,000 in the bank.
Right. And especially that 20% down can be a very intimidating number. I certainly didn't have 20% down the first home we bought.
I didn't have it the last home I bought.
Well, true. But there are a lot of loans out there that, you can get into that are a lot less than 20%. Some of them are no money down. Some of them are something nominal like 3% or lower. So don't think it comes down to doing your research before you get started. Don't hesitate on doing the research thinking, I could never buy a home because I need 20% down.
Yes.
Make some phone calls. Yeah, and that's what we're here for. You don't even have to call the lender. We can help guide you to different lenders depending on your situation, to kind of help with some of those financial questions, not even just errors, but questions.
Right. So true. I mean, it's like I've been kind of working on a big dream and getting some bids on some stuff that I maybe can't afford. But the reality of it is if I don't get the bids and I don't get the numbers, I can't decide if it's too big of a dream or if it's actually a goal I can set.
Right.
So I think always getting that information. Yes, you can get it online, but you can also talk to the realtors, talk to the lenders, talk to the bank where you bank. There's so many things you can do that way, for sure.
And talking to a human can put it in, terms that are a little easier to understand.
Real life perspective.
Yeah, I don't like to go out and read all the banking things or the accounting things.
It makes your head spin in circles. And
somebody
do it every day and it still makes my head spin in circles. Right?
Exactly.
But also, one that we see that's really big, happens a lot, is once you're under contract, once you're pre-qualified, don't buy big things. In fact, if you can avoid it, just don't buy anything.
Right.
But especially don't buy four-wheelers, don't buy cars, because that lender has looked at your debt ratio, they've looked at your full entire picture, you found the home you want to buy, everything's great, and I had this really happen once. Somebody bought a four-wheeler. It was a great deal on the four-wheeler.
Whoops.
They had to have it, and then all of a sudden their debt ratio was skewed, and they lost their house, and it was so heartbreaking. So just don't go buy new furniture for your new house.
Or, new washers and dryers, things that you will need. Just wait till after you close. The
Start
day
shopping
after.
online.
Right. Do your
That's
research.
great. Don't purchase.
And the same with I always tell people, if you win money at the casino, don't put that in the bank. The bank just doesn't like to see anything different than your normal activity that they've been basing your lending off of. So
yes, for sure.
just put that stuff under your bed for a little while.
But don't tell anybody under your bed. And don't bring it to closing for your down payment because they really freak out about cash at closing.
Yeah,
and
that's a no-no.
Yeah, everything's got to be really documented. So that's a really good one that sometimes is easy to forget about. So there's lots and lots of different financial things. Another would be number 3. Too much unsolicited advice. So I think you always want to get good advice from people you trust, which would be mom and dad, maybe, especially a first-time home buyer. It might be your sister who bought a house 3 years ago, or your brother, or whatever. And those people have a lot of experience. They know a lot of things, but sometimes maybe they might not always know as much as they think they do. Mom and dad bought a house 30 years ago, and so they're like, oh, I would never pay that for this house. That is crazy. I paid that for my first house.
Right.
And they just have a little bit of a skewed perception. Their heart is 100% in the right place, and you just sometimes got to add a little daily reality to that.
Right. Or even like when it comes to inspections on homes, mom and dad might be real handy and know a lot. You learn a lot as a homeowner, and their advice is still good, but you still want to make sure you're hiring the true experts who can really dig and make sure things are good, things are right, give you that kind of stamp of, we think this is okay.
Yes.
Sorry, mom and dad.
Yeah, sorry. Not just a mom and dad attack, though. Truthfully, even like you go to work. Oh my gosh, I saw this house, I love it. And then your coworkers know everything about it. And they know who lived there before, and they know why you wouldn't buy it, and they know things that probably sometimes are real and you want to listen, but you just want to be able to also step back and go, is this kind of the rumor mill, or is this kind of, sometimes even jealousy. People sometimes will tell you things in jealousy that can ruin your goals. So just stay back from some of that stuff, I think. It's important.
Yeah. It's hard to ignore advice, but sometimes you have to ignore some advice. Or take it with a grain of salt. And
filter it.
Filter it.
You filter the advice you get and figure out where that advice is coming from. And go from there. And that comes down to, too, if you've got a good realtor who maybe can help with that you can truly trust, that can say, okay, in this situation, they are 100% right. This is scary. I didn't know, or you didn't know, or whatever. Or, it's a little off kilter.
Sure.
So, number 4 would be unrealistic expectations. And that can happen to anybody, especially if you're moving from a different marketplace. I think sometimes, you know, what you can get for $200,000 in one community, even if you just compare Lander to Riverton,
I was
really.
gonna say, yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy to get that unrealistic expectation of what's out there. And so you have to do that research. You have to have somebody guiding you and letting you know, this is priced right for our marketplace. Yes, I know that you could have got 6 more bedrooms and 3 more baths where you came from. Maybe that's a bit exaggerative. I don't know. It depends on where they came from. Yeah. But it really is important to have realistic expectations, or all you're going to do is shop. You're never going to actually find that dream home that you're looking for, or that investment property that you want.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon for people to ask us, I think I like this house. Can you do a market analysis on it for me and tell me, is it priced appropriately? And we're happy to do that all the time.
Always. And seeing, like I've had buyers come in where they look at one house. I really like it. I want to do it. And I'm like, let's go look at just a few more. Let's look at just a few more houses so that you're really comfortable with what you can get for your dollar in our marketplace. So just being realistic and knowing what's out there. And then shiny object syndrome. Sometimes it's that 2 houses and there's the brand new one, but it's 700 square feet and it's really not going to fit your family. You're going to be outgrown next week. Once you put your kids in there, you're going to immediately be like, oh. But everything's brand new and it's fabulous. Versus maybe the second home is a little more ugly, but it's structurally fine. Maybe the countertops are not your favorite color or whatever. Being able to kind of look at what your goals are and not get too caught up in the newness sometimes can happen. So I think that's sometimes really hard because it is.
Because we all want the shiny things.
We do, and we want them to be the right size and the right shape, but you can't really enjoy that new house if you're too crowded.
Right.
Or if you max out your budget. Like we never tell people, oh, spend every penny you can. If you max out your budget because that house is perfect and you're never going to have to do anything on it, but you also can't go out to dinner, you can't buy that bottle of wine, you can't take your kids to gymnastics because your house is too expensive.
Right. You can't buy the washer and dryer, so running to the laundromat.
You've got this big, beautiful home and you got to go to the laundromat.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Right,
Exactly. That would be fun at all.
Nobody likes to be house poor, so
No.
take that into account while you're shopping, not just the shininess.
Sometimes it's worth the elbow grease, the paint roller, all of those things.
The waiting 2 to 3 years to put in the countertops that you really do love. So.
And especially when you're a first-time home buyer, that first home probably isn't going to be your lifelong home. Right. The average American stays in a home less than 7 years. Less than 7. So I'm over that now.
I'm not moving again.
Done. Never.
Only twice, but I'm over it.
But you definitely didn't say that when you bought your first house.
No, absolutely
You knew
not.
that at some point you were going to move up, you were going to go somewhere different. So you do have to have a realistic expectation there. Yeah. So those are 5 mistakes that you can avoid to make your home purchasing experience better.
Enjoyable. So if you have questions or would like some help, we'd love to help you out. And hopefully everybody's enjoying the sunshine. Exactly.
Have a great day.